taxes on that income.
Well, and there's people too that get stocked in. Most of the people who get it are more of the wealthier, but there are people who get stocked. My mom worked for Fifth Third, and
Yes.
part of their retirement was stock.
Which is included in her retirement income, which is the benefit that we
But
want to
when
exclude.
she would get dividends, she would also get dividend check on a yearly basis,
Right.
which was free for her. So that's the stock dividends that you're talking about that she would pay. Now she would get $100 a year or some small amount. But going back to that defined benefit in the 401k, I've used both in talking to both of the present legislatures in this last session. I've used my parents as an example. My mom had a 401k through Fifth Third.
Mhm.
Fifth Third stock bottomed out at one point and they lost $300,000. So they went from a retirement program that they had a good amount of money set aside that they're Social Security only now.
Yeah.
And if you have a teacher that's in that same situation and it bottoms out, my parents are Social Security only, that teacher would not be, that would be nothing. And I don't mean to revert back, but that was, that's a realistic, a real example.
We've been talking about it in the teacher and the public employee context a lot. And what I hear from a lot of my privately employed people, and listen, I'm never going to retire, right? I run a small business, so we don't get to retire. Is what about private folks? Private folks have 401ks. 401ks are relatively new construction, and they're not good for most people. The 401ks were originally intended for highly compensated employees who are getting these benefits from their company. What you're better off looking at is a professionally managed group investment fund, whether that comes in the form of a defined benefit, private pension, or some other shared risk pool. But individual 401ks are they're not ideal for individual working people who are going to rely on it for the majority of their retirement. So,
Plus, they have the fail-safe of Social Security.
but that's so tough.
But it's still there.
It's there.
Where in a teacher situation, a Kentucky teacher situation, that is not there.
Nothing.
That fail-safe. I mean, you're at zero.
Yeah.
So, and that's the big thing. You mentioned about the bill, probably would rankle some of the people in your Democrat Party. You said earlier that you're not running as a party member.
Yeah.
But one of the questions I wanted to ask, and then the other side of it, with Mark, what is an item you side with the Republicans on more than you side what your party view as it?
The gun control thing. And maybe it's because I grew up as a conservative. I was a Republican until probably 2005, 2004.
Well, that's funny. He grew up as a Democrat and became a Republican. You grew up as a Republican and became a
Crossed each
Democrat.
other, yeah.
That's funny.
But as a guy, and I bored everybody earlier talking about constitutional interpretation. But if I'm going to be a serious advocate for constitutional rights and individual liberties, then I think we have to construe the Second Amendment as broadly as we construe the other amendments. And so if you look at the text of the Second Amendment, once again, it gives a reason, it makes that right individual, and then it defines that right, okay? If you look at the history behind it, if you look at the idea that it's trying to protect, I think that the Republican Party has the right interpretation of the Second Amendment right now. And it's frustrating to me because the Second Amendment is such an important right to so many people. And I keep telling the Democratic Party, I think that our economic message is better. I think our tax message is better. I think that we have much better policy in most regards, which is why that's how I'm registered. But you gotta quit talking about guns because you are losing these people who can benefit so greatly from our policy because you're not respecting the Second Amendment appropriately. So yeah, I think the Republican Party's getting that right these days.
Okay. Two last questions. The simple question for you to tie it up. What's the difference between Greg Colson and Mark Hart as voters go to the campaign booths in November 6th?
I don't want to say negative things about Mark.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to define this.
Well, you can define who Greg
about
Colson is.
I am. Okay. I am a fiercely independent human being. My wife can tell me what to do, and that's about it.
Happy wife, happy life.
That's right, and she earned that by being such a good human being to me, and I trust her with everything. That she's a handful. She's one of a handful of people. Other than that, my clients and my people come first, and I feel like the Bible says you can't serve two masters. I don't think in the legislature you can serve two masters either. I don't think you can serve the donor class and out-of-state special interests and your party and lobbyists. I don't think you can serve them and serve the people of your district as well. I think that I exceed in that area. I think that I do very well in that area by being able to critically look at a policy and look at what I think the fallout is going to be and how it's going to impact my people in that district, because that's who I have to answer for. Because I've got a chance at winning this time, and then I may lose in 2020, and if I do, I still got to be able to look at the folks around me and say I didn't screw you guys over. And that is what my driving force is. And so I think that in that regard, I believe I'll show greater independence.
Okay. Last question.
Yeah.
You got upcoming events that you want the people to know about, whether it's here in Pendleton County, Scott, Harrison, come out to support?
Yes. Oh man, I'm going to use my phone to do this, okay? The biggest thing is Wool Fest this weekend, y'all. Please come out.
Gotta ask you.
Yeah.
Favorite food at the Wool Fest? What will be
fried anything?
Oh, fried anything.
That's
What will be the first thing you order?
Barbecue.
Barbecue?
Yeah.
Mine's country ham.
Really?
Country. It used to be country ham and cheese on rye, but they got rid of the rye bread, so now it's just country ham.
You're a rye guy. Huh?
I joke that I've ate my weight in country ham and cheese at the Wool Fest.
That's what I saw you eating at the Unique Art Walk the other day.
I did.
That
country ham.
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel had it. When did I go? Tuesday. Had Cracker Barrel. Had country ham.
Really?
I'm a country ham guy.
Yeah. When I did the no carb thing, country ham and runny eggs is where it was at. So couldn't have the gravy, but
that sounds good, right?
Yeah.
There. Country ham and runny eggs.
Yeah.
So what other events? Wool Fest this weekend?
Yeah, Wool Fest. If you want to support us, you can wear our T-shirts. If you don't want to support us, at least come to Wool Fest and support that, because we've got a ton of great folks that are going to be out there. A lot of good vendors. This is a way to trap dollars in Pendleton County is the best way to put it. But tourist dollars, when they come into a community, they're going to get moved around 5 or 6 times before it leaves the community again. So let's get as many of those outside dollars into Pendleton County as possible. Let me look at my phone and see what we've got coming up. We do canvases every weekend. So if you
What
guys
is a
want-
canvas?
Yeah, you knock doors and ask
Okay.
people to vote for me, and it's
Gotcha.
exciting. And talking to strangers about politics isn't awkward at all. So, let's see.
I had somebody local running that I went to high school with. That go ahead, you don't have, go ahead.
Oh.
Look at your while I'm talking. I'm just kind of filling the air. Who running for the first time, and he had expressed how difficult it is to get out to everybody, because you knock on a door, that person may want to talk to you for 30, 40 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And then you can't get to more people, but you can't say, I need to leave and run
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
So he goes, I didn't realize how hard it was going to be to get to everybody. And he's just doing one magistrate district.
Yeah, I've taken a more laid back approach. My initial goal was to knock on every single door in the district. And because that's Greg Colson. I say I'm going to do this huge thing. And then they're like, Greg, there's a million people. You're like, and so I've just taken a more laid back approach. And if someone wants me to come in and drink coffee and talk to their cat, that I'm going to do it.
Talk to their cat.
Yeah, and that's just what we're going to do, and
So you're going for the cat lovers vote.
I need them. I'm allergic to cats.
Oh, yeah.
And so my daughter has learned that there are allergy shots out there. And so now I get the guilt trip, Dad, are you going to get allergy shots? I'm like, And so now there's a cat living on my back porch, and I came home one day, there's a pink collar on it. And I was like, well, I guess that's my cat now.
Yeah,
so,
that is your cat.
Yeah.
So what events?
Let's see, we got Scott County Retired Teachers coming up at 1 o'clock next Wednesday. We've got a couple of things going on down at headquarters, but just shoot us a message on Facebook, or my cell phone number is out there, just whatever you need. So.
And October 18th, the Pendleton County Farm Bureau is having measure the candidates, and you'll be at that.
I will
be at that, and it's an opportunity to stop by. Anything else?
Yeah, in Harrison County on October 20th, we'll have something going on as well. So come on out to that, meet the candidate forum, and yeah, let's just. I want everybody to know what I actually believe. I think a lot of times we define people based upon party and affiliation, and not who that person is or what their beliefs are. And so I want to be able to tell everybody what Greg Colson believes.
Well, and that's why this is here. It's almost 2 hours we've been talking. You definitely did not hear political buzzwords and phrases. You can't fill to almost 2 hours by just doing that.
No.
So hopefully you got some good information to understand who Greg Colson is, in depth about who and what you stand for and those kind of things, and not just political terms and throwing those things about. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah,
appreciate you blocking out this large of a time for us.
I'm going to go eat at Howard's.
Go eat at Howard's, absolutely. So thank you for staying here. Remember, all the videos throughout the campaign season will be at www.falmouthOutlook.com. Pretty easy to remember. And we've had several videos up there for sheriff, magistrate. We'll have ones coming up for mayor, city council, all of those kind of things, as well as both of the representative candidates. And we'll have Will Schroeder and Rachel Roberts videos coming up shortly before November. And hopefully you're getting some out of this. I know it takes some commitment for you, 2 hours to watch this, but there's a lot of good information there. A lot of good just conversations about what, if you vote and elect Greg Colson to be your representative, what that will be when he gets into Frankfurt.
These deep dives are good. I mean, you don't get deep dives. Even at that that debate, 2 minutes.
Yeah, you had 2 minutes.
Anything in 2 minutes.
And 30 seconds to reply, and that was it. Yeah, we exceeded the 2 minutes and 30 seconds a long time ago. So.
See you next week. We'll do another 2 hours.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, sir.
See you.
Thank you all.